Hi there, it's Marion with the Scorched Earth Kitchen. It's a little bit, well, let's see, after 1 p.m. on New Year's Day 2019. I've been puttering around. I uploaded a different video for the channel earlier today, and I am still quite low on groceries, and I'm getting a little hangry. I tried to be a good girl, and no, I shouldn't say try. I did make a smoothie, a fruit smoothie a little while ago, and it was great, but it's not holding me, and I haven't made it out to go grocery shopping. I still have not a whole lot of anything in the house right now, but it occurred to me that one thing I could make pretty easily, doesn't take long to pull it together, and takes like 5 ingredients, are pancakes, and those will hold me over until the other thing, until I'm ready to make the other meal that I have planned for dinner. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to make pancakes from scratch. So just to give you an idea as to how little I have on hand, this is my fridge. That little pot right there contains some plain brown rice. Let's see. The container with the purple lid is half of a chopped onion, a bulb of garlic, a package of vegan cheese, some tahini for making hummus, and lemon tahini dressing. The half-empty package behind it is vital wheat gluten, and then I've got a package of tofu there. And that's really it. I pretty much only, for the most part, I only put things on the top 2 shelves since it's kind of grody downstairs, and cleaning is kind of a tricky proposition because of some slight damage at the bottom. But, oh, and the red thing is my little temporary compost bin, or compost fodder bin. That'll go out to the bin in the backyard later. Almond milk, soy milk, condiments, my pretend butter that I use. That's all I have in the fridge. And in the freezer, chopped spinach, crowder peas, scraps for making veggie broth, kidney beans and yellow bell peppers that I chopped and froze and cooked from dry a little while ago, and about enough mixed berries to make 1 more frozen smoothie. And then each of these contains 2 sliced frozen bananas, also for smoothies. I typically will throw those into a peanut butter smoothie of some kind. And that's all that I have in the fridge, and here's some other stuff that I have on the fridge. And in the cupboards I have a lot of dry spices. I generally have a lot of those on hand. Straws for smoothies. This huge thing of flour. This is about $3 at Trader Joe's, and I don't do a ton of baking, so it lasts a nice long while. And I actually have another package up here that I haven't quite finished. Let's see, cocoa, chocolate chips, some crispy beets left over from my green bean casserole the other day, and assorted teas. And then, well, a lot more of the same over here, plus some protein powder that I like to use, various baking ingredients and dry spices, flax and stevia up top. And that is all I have on hand right now. While it might not seem obvious, I actually do have everything on hand that's needed to make pancakes from scratch, so hang on. Okay, so I've got a pretty small, I think the base here is about 6 inches wide, non-stick pan for the pancakes. And the first thing I do before I start mixing things together is turn it to just below medium heat. I don't want them to burn. Actually, come to think of it, they tend to be a little slow to cook if I don't put them right on medium. So that's that, and note the time. This is going to be a bit of a late lunch. Okay, so the nice thing about making pancakes from scratch is that they are deceptively easy. All you really need are a small mixing bowl, or maybe a medium one if you're making a family-sized stack of pancakes, a little bit of salt, a little bit of baking powder, Cinnamon's totally optional. I like to put it in pretty much everything. A little bit of sugar, some soy milk or almond milk or regular milk, whatever you have. I happen to be vegan, so this is one of my go-tos. And then your flour. For this, I'm probably going to finish off this bag and drop in a little bit of this one too, and they should taste fine mixed together. They're about equally high in protein. Okay, so you start basically just by dropping the flour into it. All the dry ingredients are going to go in first. So if you notice a slight color difference, that's the two flours. The whiter one was that it looked to be about, I'm not measuring as I go, I'm so used to eyeballing this. I'll give some approximations in the notes. But the white one, the unbleached all-purpose, there was about a cup there, it looked like to me, so I added about another half a cup of the white whole wheat, which is noticeably not as white, but it's okay. Okay, so now I've added the remaining dry ingredients, basically the cinnamon, that's to taste. That's probably about a quarter to half a teaspoon. I added, it looked to me like about another half a teaspoon of salt. That's to help balance the flavors and you don't end up with a flat, sweet taste. This here is the sugar. That's sugar in the raw. And I eyeballed between 2 and 3 teaspoons, which 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I tend to be a little heavier handed with baking powder than what a lot of recipes recommend because I want to be 100% sure that this actually rises. So just take a whisk and mix your dry ingredients together. And then last but not least, you're going to want to add in your milk, whatever kind you're using. In a pinch, I've even used water. The flavor isn't quite as rich, but you still get an edible result. And I'm just free pouring this. For each cup of flour, start with 2/3 to 1 cup of water and just whisk. The batter you end up with should be a little on the runny side, or like a thin cake batter that you're going to put in the oven. And just whisk that together until it's all blended and you don't have any clumps. Okay, so that's what that looks like now. I mean, you can see the tiniest hint of a few clumps. That's not the end of the world. The key is to whisk out any big ones that, would still be like dry flour at the end of the cooking. So that's that, and now we're going to move over to my stovetop where the pan is nice and heated. Okay, so there's the pan, and you might not be as much of a daredevil as me. You might be more comfortable pouring this from a measuring cup with a spout, but I've done this enough times that I'm just going to go ahead and do it like so. So I'm not really sure how much I'm measuring out. It looks to me like about 1/3 to half a cup. You'll want to vary that based on the size of the pancakes you want. What I plan to do with this 6-inch wide, as you'll see in a second, pan is actually make big pancakes. Yeah, so they'll start bubbling on the underside right away. And basically in this case, I want to pull them to the edge so that they'll be a tad thinner. Okay. All right. Okay, so only about a minute has passed since I poured that in and swirled it near the edges like that. And the neat thing about pancakes is that they take very little time. Once they start to bubble on the top side like this, it's time to flip them. So let's do that. Okay, and that's just a touch on the brown side, but that's okay. So we're going to give that maybe another minute. It's not going to take long once again for the underside to cook through, once they've gotten to the point of them bubbling on the top side where you started. Okay, so it's been another minute and I'm pretty sure without having looked already that this is done. So I have already set a plate off to the side and I'm going to go ahead and flip it onto the plate just so that the hotter side, yeah, see, that is exactly done. Again, a teeny bit brown in the middle, but not burnt, just brown. So that one turned out well. And then with your remaining batter, simply lather, rinse, and repeat. So our end time was 1:57, and I believe we started at 1:33. Honestly, the only reason it even took this long are, well, two reasons. One, me doing the camera close-ups, but also the fact that I was putting them into this pan one at a time. If you have something with a wider base that can handle 3 or 4 at a time and you plan to make them a little bit smaller, then by all means, you could definitely knock them out faster that way. Now all you need to do are add the syrup of your choice or just start eating them with your hands. So what I just showed you are pancakes with 5 essential ingredients plus the optional cinnamon. There are all kinds of ways you can get fancy with these. If you want to chop up a banana, maybe drop in a couple of big spoonfuls of applesauce, a couple of tablespoons of flax, just really cocoa powder, and then maybe sprinkle them with some powdered sugar on top. Just whatever you like, whatever you have on hand that makes sense. You can leave out the sugar and make savory pancakes with chopped veggies. I mean, there are really a lot of different possibilities with pancakes, and they're quick and easy to make like I just showed you. If you don't have pancake mix, no worries. As long as you have those few basic ingredients, you too can make pancakes. Thanks for joining me today in the Scorched Earth Kitchen, and I look forward to cooking for you again the next time. Peace.